Underway. It's the first pitch to Tiare Jennings. Misses a bit low.
Monticelli has been looking really good, but like you said, hitting, those are the top three. You have Alyssa Brito, you have Tiare Jennings, you have Kinsey Hansen. All three of them throughout this series so far, they've had one game where they've really shined, and you could see that offensive highlight where they've come to life. They've gained plenty of points offensively, but they've also shown what they can do defensively, and that's why they're at the top of the lineup.
Jennings takes the 1-0 in for a called strike, and I have just really loved so much being able to see this team gel a little bit so early in this battle series, as the 1-1 is skied high. Riley Boone's going to come in from center field to take care of it for the first out of the inning. And Jennings is sat down. It's a good location from Monticelli.
Yeah, I mean, Jennings, she got a hold of that one a little underneath, but that's what Monticelli knows. She's not going to get a swing and miss every single at-bat, but she needs to be able to get the miss hits, to get something that looks so juicy to a hitter that they go after it and they can just miss with the late break.
Riley Ludlam, the Furman transfer, stands in, takes a hack first pitch. Taps it foul, and you know, that's the thing about Peyton Monticelli. She's got the velo. You know, you talk to Coach Gasso about the Wisconsin transfer, and she'll flat tell you she's the hardest thrower on this team.
Absolutely.
The 0-1 hit hard, but it's going to be taken care of, and a little bit of a different look at first base. Jada Coleman loving it at first base for the second out of the inning.
And that's the cool thing about the Battle Series. Not only are they employing the Athletes Unlimited scoring system, but it's fall ball, so they have the chance to move their defense around, kind of see what works, see who needs to go where, doing what. Coleman, obviously, not typically at first base, but showing her athleticism, being able to play anywhere.
Cassidy Pickering takes a good hack first pitch, and it's going to get out of here over the left center field wall, and the freshman putting the white team on the board with one swing of the bat, and Cassidy Pickering making her presence known in this battle series and going yard. White team on top here in the first inning, and I know you've got a fond place in your heart for Cassidy Pickering, Nicole.
Oh man, I do, and I have a fond place in my heart for that swing. That was a beauty. Oppo out in left center. That was a great job by Pickering being able to stay on that, but I've known her probably since she was 5, and to see her wearing a crimson and cream uniform just puts me over the moon.
Avery Hodge stands in, shows bunt, but pulls it back for strike 1. But that Sooner home run is proudly brought to you by Paycom. Score big by letting employees do their own payroll. Learn more at paycom.com. Yo, 1 to Hodge. This is a little low and away. And you know, we talk so much, Nicole. I think you and I get very caught up in the game and the runs, but there's so many other facets of this battle series going on right now as the 1-1 is lifted, and it's going to fall right in front of Riley Boone. And the white team put together a little 2-out rally with back-to-back hits. And Avery Hodge is getting enough of it to find a little bit of green.
I mean, a lot of times whenever you think of OU softball, you think of the home runs, you think of all the blasts, all the hard hits, the high exit velos, but what helps them the most is whenever they have runners on base, doesn't matter how they get on there, and they'll take it however they can get. A little flare over the infield, I'll take that, because a hard hit maybe can score Avery Hodge because she has that speed from first.
2 outs, and just like that, Tiare Jennings getting another look at Peyton Monticelli here in the first. Again, each of these teams only rolling with 4 or 5 offensive players, as the 1-0 misses way outside. Good job by Kinsey Hansen behind the plate, as Monticelli falls behind Tiare Jennings. 2 balls and no strikes. Jennings 0 for 1 in this inning.
If only you got to come back up in a normal season that quickly.
2-0 misses up, and Monticelli Behind here, 3 balls and no strikes. The runner at first and 2 outs. But we were kind of talking about this a moment ago as Monticelli fires a 3-0 and misses up, and it'll be a 2-out walk to Jennings to bring up Riley Ludlam. But the game within the game that's going on in this battle series of the point system and all of the pieces that are going with not just the runs being put on the board and the outs being made in the game, but if we go back to Cassidy Pickering's home run, obviously she's getting the points for the home run, 40 points for Pickering, puts a run on the board as the first pitch to Ludlam misses a bit low, but it was also hit so hard it qualifies as a seed. So that's where we are. So a seed is another 3 points in that battle series point system, and it's registering over a certain mile per hour on the exit velo. So
you have a single for 10 points, a double for 20, a triple for 30 points, and a home run obviously for 40 points. Now on top of that, if you hit a ball over a certain mile per hour, doesn't matter whether it's a single or home run, or you can get, or an out, you could get extra points just for that. And again, that's prioritizing hard hits, that's prioritizing quality swings, quality at-bats, committing to pitches. Everything about the way this scoring system is engineered is to bring it into how can we have quality in our offense, how can we have quality as a pitcher.
Ludlam shows bunt but pulls it back, and the 2-0. Good hack, but fouled straight back, and Monticelli getting a strike. Trying to work out of a little bit of a jam here with minimal damage. Runners at first and second and 2 outs. With Pickering on deck, who put the white team on the board quickly with a 2-out shot. Monticelli getting herself back in the count as it evens up 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That one nails Hansen, notorious for getting hit behind the plate. Nails her. She takes a second to shake it out.
Looks to be okay. Gotta love seeing the grin. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Here's the thing. You say it nails her. Kinsey Hansen is tough as nails. Everything
the amount
she does
of bruises I've seen on her, I think she likes them. She likes to collect them.
The 2-2, a little bit of a check swing from Ludlam, but they're going to say she held. And count runs full. Good discipline by Riley Ludlam. And we're going to see everybody on the move. 2 outs, full count, and the payoff pitch. Set to be fired by Peyton Monticelli. The 3-2 misses out, and back-to-back walks for the starter to bring up the freshman Cassidy Pickering. And Pickering, we've already seen her in this inning, but 1 pitch, 1 swing, 1 run.
And another thing about coming up so quickly into a single inning, as Jennifer Rocha, the pitching coach for Oklahoma, calls time, then just this is normal, business as usual. Bases loaded, but you have 2 outs. Let's get a single out right here.
And Pickering coming out hacking again. Pickering's seen 2 pitches in this ball game. And you gotta love the aggressiveness coming from the freshman, just confident. Two outs, bases loaded. As the 0-1, nice location with the curveball coming from Monticelli, just misses. But I love that location from her. I think that last home run that was on the outer half, the first pitch strike that Pickering took was on the outer half. That foul ball that she just had, outer half. So coming in makes sense. Pickering, she's looking for that outer half. You can tell she doesn't want any part of that inside. That may change mid-at-bat, but as of now, I think that's a good way to speed up the batter. Freshman lefty stands in, and the 2-1 is launched right back at Monticelli off of her knee. Alina Torres picks up the ricochet to make a heck of a play and throw out Pickering at first base. Monticelli walking it off, but thankfully looks to be okay. And all right, so a couple moving parts there, and then your tanks, your home runs, all of the things that go into it. Again, not just a hit, not just a home run. There are so many different pieces to the scoring system, and I think a lot of that comes from JT Gasso himself, some of it.
Absolutely. He is all about the details, all about the little things. That's something that Oklahoma's known for, is doing the little things, being consistent with that. And I think it's so great that you get a glimpse into seeing that. You can see JT Gasso on the screen there. You get a glimpse into who this team is here now in the fall, playing each other in a scrimmage. And they're focusing, okay, did I get on base? Did I have a hard hit? Well, did I even have an even harder hit? How far did I hit it? They're focusing on the little things, trying to get those things right now. So when season comes, they're ready later.
Hannah Core leading it off for the gray team. Find yourself in a 2-1 count of the sophomore Kirsten Deal. It's the lefty, fires the 2-1 and just misses low, falls behind 3 balls and a strike to Core. Let's go ahead and take a moment here to set the defense, and we're going to see these defenses shifting. Again, you may see some of these players that you're used to seeing in certain positions in different spots as the 3-1 is grounded up the middle. Lilio lays out, backhands it, but Hannah Core is going to beat it out for a lead-off single to start the middle of the first inning to bring up Kinsey Hansen, and good job by Lilio keeping that ball on the dirt.
I mean, what a great play, but Hannah Core, she has a tremendous amount of speed, and you can see her as soon as it's hit 2 steps out, she's gunning. She knows she has a chance as soon as she sees Lilio lay out. She's like, I can beat it.
That's a pretty good piece of hitting, seeing that pitch, recognizing it on the outside corner and letting it travel. As Hansen shows bump, it pulls back, and the back pick not quite in time as Core dives back in safely.
None other than T.R. Jennings over at first to make that tag.
Well, let's go ahead and set this defense. We've got T.R.A. Jennings at first base, Quincy Lilio at second, Avery Hodge at short, Alyssa Burrito at third, Cassidy Pickering in left, Jada Coleman in center, Maya Bland in right as Bland is chasing and makes the catch in foul territory. Hannah Core, good base running as she tags up and will take second base on the play, but right on cue in right field is Maya Bland.
Bland running in deep and hard for that one. But with that, again, you know the speed that Core has. She just showcased it on that amazing play by Lilio, not able to get her out in time because of that speed. As a right fielder, you have to know if you're running up against the fence, as soon as you catch that, if you have a speedster, an aggressive base runner, you have to be looking ahead immediately. And that's what Core did, and she took advantage of it. Now
Riley
runner
Boone
in scoring position.
And speaking of speed, got speed at second, and Riley Boone in the box as first hack taps it foul. And Deal ahead, no balls and a strike to the senior. Deal in the circle with Riley Ludlam behind the plate, rounding out the battery. And Deal working to work out of a little bit of a jam here. Runner in scoring position, 1 out. She fires the 0-1 and nice curveball. Breaks the outside corner and Deal's ahead here, no balls and 2 strikes. Deal fires the 0-2, and it's looped to left field. Pickering is there for the second out of the inning, and Deal finding a way to get it done. And so we're in the middle of this first inning here. As I already mentioned, you see the blankets, you see the heavy coats. It's a little chilly in Norman here tonight as ready to bring you the Trails Golf Club weather report. 53 degrees with an 11-mile-per-hour wind out of the north. All right, it's a chilly wind here tonight, and you can see it with all the layers everyone's got on. But today's game day weather is presented by the Trails Golf Club in Norman, where you will experience everything you love about golf and more. Alina Torres stands in with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs as the gray team is looking to answer back and get on the board as Deal fires the 1-0. And what a great location on the outside corner, and starting to see Deal settle in and settle in quickly. Torres, senior, awaits the 1-1 as misses outside. And with these offensive lineups being as small as they are, so many different things that we see as Riley Boone, who just flew out to left field, is now at second base for Hannah Core.
Trading one speedy for another.
It's not a bad trade. It'd be nice if you could do that all the time, right?
Right.
2-1, misses low, and Deal behind here, 3 balls and a strike.
She's been struggling trying to get ahead. She's gotten lucky with some soft flies, but being disciplined at the plate, Gray's done a great job. Being able to take those pitches. You can see Torres, she just drew a walk. But being able to take those pitches and wait for what you really want. A couple of pop-ups, but they're on the right track to getting what they want.
Torres draws the 2-out walk to roll it back over to Hannah Core, who got all of this going with her single to start the inning. An opportunity here to put the Gray team on the board. With runners at first and second and 2 outs. Steele fires the first pitch and just misses low. And I agree, Nicole, as we're watching Deal, she's throwing quality pitches. It's just nibbling on the plate, trying to be too fine.
Good movement, late movement, but like you said, trying to be a little bit too perfect instead of going at the hitters.
1-0 is looped down the right field line, but it's going to fall down foul.
It's a little lucky that one fell on the right side instead of the left side of that foul line. That would have scored 2. Both runners, as soon as they saw it, they were going. Maya Bland, she's out in right field a little deep, and then you have Lilio up the middle just a few steps. So that was kind of in no man's land for that defense.
We've seen Hannah Core in her first at-bat. She had that infield single kind of up the middle to the right side, but handling pitches on the outside corner very well. And expect to see Deal maybe do something a little different, work inside as 1-1 misses in the dirt. Good job by Riley Ludlam behind the plate. Deal looking to get back in this count and get out of the inning. She fires the 2-1, and there's that curveball coming inside. But again, just missing a little bit low. It's kind of the story of this inning so far for Deal. Hannah Core, the sophomore, awaits the 3-1. Lifted and hit well to left center field, and it's going to get out of here. Hannah Core with the 3-run shot to put the Gray team on top, 3-1. And Hannah Core doing it all in this inning, starting the rally and finishing it with a bang.
I mean, that's why you want to get runners on base. Scored her himself from second base. That one up and in, over the plate a little bit. Deal forced to come over the plate after just nibbling, and Cora was ready for that. Took it out, almost hit the fans out there in left center.
The bundled up fans, but no less. That Sooner home run is proudly brought to you by Paycom. Score big by letting employees do their own payroll. Learn more at paycom.com. Make it 3-1. The Gray team showing a little power of their own as Kinsey Hansen stands in to face Kirsten Deal. And story of this inning for Deal, again, working ahead and throwing and hitting quality spots as Hansen gets jammed but has just enough to find some green, and Hansen keeps the 2-out rally alive.
Yeah, handcuffed a little, but the outfield deeper, just because they have to respect the power that she has. And Deal just kind of getting a tough end of that, but being able to continue to shake that off. It was just a single, come back at her, get this next batter right here, turn it around, make it quick.
Riley Boone set for her second at-bat of the inning. A little bit of a slap right back to Deal. Lilio is going to race there, but does not get her foot on the bag, and Riley Boone is safe.
love what this great team has been doing. They have been causing chaos. They have been using their speed to their advantage. They are constantly pushing through. You can see on that replay, see Pale back in the background immediately. Safe, safe, safe. Leo not able to get that foot down on first base. Again, the speed causing chaos, have runners in scoring position. Even though there's 2 outs, they're still pushing the envelope.
Lena Torres stands in with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Hacking first pitch, and Lilio goes for the backhand, but it's going to scoot away. Kinsey Hansen will score. Riley Boone slides into third base safely. And it's a 4-run inning for the gray team. And you can just see Lilio. She was there. And you kind of expect to see Quincy Lilio make that play, but pulled up a little too quickly.
Yeah, a lot of action her way, trying to maybe not get around that one, trying to get it on that back foot so she could flip over really quickly. But with this inning, it's kind of bleeding a little bit. We've seen chaos. We've seen a lot of things happen and turnover. But right now, what I would want to see from this defense is a quick timeout. Say, hey, let's reset. Let's go back together. But it's been quick. It's been chaotic. It's been pressure-filled on the defense. So great team's taking full advantage, but I can see Burrito walking up to Deal now, and she's just shaking her shoulders, telling her to breathe. You got it right there. That's what you want to see from your defense whenever things are not spiraling out of control, but there's bleeding happening on the field.
Well, you can see it. You can feel it. In Deal trying to find the zone a little bit and catching a tough break with Kinsey Hansen. Not a terrible pitch to Kinsey Hansen, but just enough to muscle it out. It just feels like this inning continues to just drag on. And Hannah Core's had a lot to do with it. Her third at-bat of the inning as she takes the first pitch upstairs for a ball. And something kind of interesting that is pretty much, it is impossible in a game where you've got a regular offensive lineup, but in theory, Hannah Core scored herself on her 3-run home run.
She did.
It's the 0-1. Torres takes off, and she is in between, and she is going to make her way all the way back to first base. Riley Boone trying to draw a throw. Good job by Avery Hodge.
Yeah, that's a tough play, especially whenever Avery Hodge, once she crosses that halfway point, that's a tough play for a shortstop to make just because of the arm angle. And Riley Boone knows that, and she knows that Avery Hodge knows that. And so she's using that against her to get her runner back safely.
One thing everyone knows, I mean, you know, it's in the scouting report for every OU offense, is the first and third plays that this team runs on the base paths. And we know through personal experience how much that gets worked on a daily basis in practice. Deal is ahead here, 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at the corners and 2 outs to Hannah Core, who is 2 for 2 in this inning. 1-2 gets away from Ludlam. Torres will move up. And an opportunity for Hannah Core to really give the gray team a cushion here in the first inning.
I mean, if 4-1 wasn't a cushion enough.
Deal rocks and fires the 2-2 line drive to center field. Jada Coleman's on her way back. It's going to get over her head off the wall. Boone will score. Torres will score. And why not make it a 6 RBI inning for Hannah Core with the 2-out, 2 RBI single. Great teams on top, 6-1, all from the bat of Hannah Core.
Move over Alyssa Brito. We got a powerhouse of our own here today. Hannah Core takes that outside pitch, does such a good job at staying on plane with that ball. And you can see as soon as Jada Coleman turns her head, Lena Torres is like, I gotta go. I gotta get on my horse and I gotta get in.
Kinsey Hansen stands in, takes the first pitch in for called strike 1. Hansen has singled and scored a run in this inning, and the great team, here's one of the most impressive pieces of all of this, doing all of it with 2 outs. It's the 0-1, misses upstairs. But you go back to the start of the middle of this first inning, and we're calling it the middle because there are 3 offensive teams. So we're going to have the top of an inning, the middle of an inning, and the bottom offensively. But you go back to the beginning of this half inning, Core let it off with a quick single, and then Deal got 2 quick outs. And since then, the gray team has put 6 runs on the board as Hansen fouls the 1-1 straight back, and Deal's ahead here, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Nice job by Deal getting ahead early, especially on a hitter like Kinsey Hansen, making her have to go after pitches versus letting her stay a little bit more in her element with pitches.
1-2 line drive and just foul into the left field corner. Good hack by Hansen. It's good to see Deal ahead, as you mentioned, Nicole. One thing I feel like we haven't seen Kirsten Deal do so far in this inning is change speeds.
A lot of one side of the plate kind of makes it predictable for hitters. They know if I'm going to get 90% of my pitches on one side of the plate and only 10% are going to be on the other, it makes sense that I would chase after the 90% versus the odd 10%. It just makes sense. So being able to switch up the locations, being able to change up speeds, that's going to help hitters, not hitters, it's going to help pitchers be forced to go out of their comfort zone. It's going to force them to go outside of their plan and have to chase after her pitches versus Deal having to chase after strikes.
Even the pitcher's pitch here to Kinsey Hansen as Deal fires the 1-2, misses low and away, and the back pick from Ludlam. And Core will make it back in time. And again, we've talked about the defense and how it is going to have some different looks. Tiare Jennings at first base, keeping that glove and that tag on Hannah Core a little long, making sure she doesn't come off the bag.
Little roommate love there.
Deal brings the 2-2, and it's lifted to right field. The freshman Maya Bland is under it, and that will get them out of the middle of this first inning. And Nassau in her 30th season, 7-time national champion, back to back to back. As Jada Coleman taps the first pitch she sees from Peyton Monticelli, foul.
I mean, look at that record.
It's unreal.
The losses aren't even a third of her wins. Not even a third.
One misses outside. And, you know, I think there have just been so many storylines, especially here over the last few years, and the dynasty that this program has become, and just so much culture and so much that has gone into the past 30 years. Unbelievable to see.
And it's just a dedication to how can we do things a better way? How can we continue to improve? And I think that's Coach Gasso's biggest strength of how can we do this better? And it's not my way or the highway, but how can we do this better? How can we do the little things? And she's open to learning from her players. She's open to learning from other teams, from coaches, from whoever. I think that's a rare trait.
Monticelli misses the 3-1 outside, and Jada Coleman is aboard with a lead-off walk to bring up the points leader walking into this game in Alyssa Brito. Brito leading the charge walking into game 4 with 454 points. Hannah Core trying to catch her after the show she just put on. But Alyssa Brito says, you're not going to get it, as she lifts the first pitch she sees out of here and over the left field wall. That is the 3rd home run offensively that we have seen tonight. And just like that, the Crimson team puts a pair of runs on the board in Alyssa Brito. Her 3rd home run in 2 weeks.
And this one from Monticelli just left over the heart of the plate, middle. Brito takes this 1 yard. You can see out over left field. That's a mistake. That's almost the opposite of what we saw with Deal last inning. We can see Monticelli leaving the ball too much over the plate. So we want to find a happy medium. It's definitely shaping up to be a hitter's game tonight. Lots of runs being scored, lots of hard hits, lots of seeds going on. You can see JT, he's not satisfied with what they've gotten so far. He wants more.
And that Sooner Home Run is proudly brought to you by Paycom. Score big by letting employees do their own payroll. Learn more at paycom.com. As Quincy Lilio stands in to face Peyton Monticelli. Nobody on and nobody out here in the bottom half of the first. And as you said, Nicole, as the first pitch misses low and away, this is an offensive heavy game that we have seen so far. We're not even through the first inning, and there have been 10 runs put up on the board between these three teams.
Yeah,
excuse me, 9.
Brings to mind what are they doing during the week? What has JT Gasso been working on with this team? Because between last week and this week, you've seen a lot of discipline and you've seen a lot of hard hits, a lot of seeds, 70+ exit velocity, versus the first few weeks you weren't seeing quite as many. So that speaks to the practice, the discipline, and the intentionality that they've been putting in throughout the week.
Monticelli behind here, 3 balls and no strikes to Quincy Lilio as she just catches the outside corner for called strike 1. Once got to 3 balls and a strike. When you walking away from last week as well, again, we've seen such good offense coming from this team as a 3-1 little check swing, but is in and the count runs full. Good to see Monticelli bring the count back, but JT Gasso in this offense always expecting more, always wanting to improve and get better week by week. The full count pitch is popped foul, and we'll do the 3-2 again. Lilio, the lefty, getting some action in the middle infield defensively in the middle half of this inning. It's the 3-2 misses in the dirt, and Lilio draws the second walk of this inning to bring up Nellie McEnroe Marinas. You know, we've talked so much, Nicole, about the offensive explosion that we've seen so far in this game. How much of that do you think has been aided by pitchers just flat out missing spots?
I think it's a little bit of both, because if you're a hitter and you're chasing after, I think of Deal, great example. She's been throwing a lot of pitchers' pitches, barely missing the plate, just nibbling around, and the hitters aren't buying because they're being so disciplined and they are specifically sticking to their plan, looking for that and that only. That the other options that they're getting, it's not even tempting to them. So whenever pitchers miss, it's not always because they're missing their spots. It's just because the hitters aren't looking for the nibbles, the little here, the little there.
McEnroe Marina's going to take a minute to get some clarity from Coach Gasso on the signal card, as she's set to step back in and awaits the 1-0 from Peyton Monticelli. McEnroe Marinas, the freshman from Hawaii. Monticelli rocks and fires. Shows bump, but pulls back for called strike 1. You can just see this Crimson team showing some patience. They're aggressive. They've been aggressive, but as you've mentioned, Nicole, just showing discipline, making Monticelli come over the plate. She fires the 1-1. Nice pitch, and fouled off as Monticelli's ahead here, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I think if I'm having to guess their game plan is wait for something to bleed over the plate. Don't go after the ones that are right in the alleyway in the river of the plate, but wait for something to bleed over. And we've seen whenever Monticelli has those pitches that bleed over, they've been hit hard and they've been hit far.
1-2 misses upstairs. Count runs even to 2 balls and 2 strikes. We haven't even mentioned this. Monticelli, to end the top of the first inning, took a line drive from Cassidy Pickering off the knee. Thankfully looks to be okay, as Alina Torres made a good play on the ricochet. But Monticelli just talking about how she looks to be okay. And she went ahead and said, yeah, DJ, I'm just fine. Let me get my first strikeout of the ball game on a nice curveball to McEnroe Marinas for the first out of the inning.
This one on that outer half, that one actually painting the corner perfectly. And that's what you want to see. Get ahead and then work your pitchers. Stick to that game plan, be aggressive, and you'll see a lot of success.
Freshman Maya Bland stands in, first pitch hacking, and fouls it off. Really been impressed with the freshman and just her composure. Very, and we say this a lot as she shows bunt and pulls back, but calm, cool, and collected. Starting to see Monticelli get into some more pitchers' counts. She fires the 1-1. And nice curveball, but Lilio takes off on the pitch, dives in with the stolen base, and she is in scoring position.
Nice try by Ludlam, but Lilio kind of catching her off guard. Didn't hear a lot of runner from the dugout, from the defense. Again, lulling them to sleep a little bit, catching them by surprise. That's plus 10 right there for Lilio on that stolen base.
Good jump. 1-2 is popped foul. Let's go ahead and set that defense for this rotation. Riley Ludlam behind the plate with Kinsey Hansen at first, Avery Hodge at second, Tiare Jennings at short, Alina Torres at third, Nicole May in left field, Riley Boone in center, and the freshman Cassidy Pickering in right. And Maya Bland stays alive, taking good hacks.
I think on all 3 teams we've seen at least one person. We had Jada Coleman at first, and we had Tiare Jennings at first. So Coach Gasso must have said, you know what, we got to surprise at least once on every team. Let's throw May out in left field, see how that does.
1-2. It's popped foul and out of play, and good battle here by the freshman Maya Bland. Well, and Nicole, I think you and I know this more than anything. Coach Gasso, she expects every player on this team, whether you are a pitcher or not, when your number's called, there's a job to be done. Plain and simple.
You better step up. You better be ready.
1-2 ground ball up the middle. Avery Hodge backhands it and makes it look simple, as she does so often. And 2 quick outs here for Peyton Monticelli, which will roll it back up to the top and bring up Jada Coleman with a runner at third and 2 outs.
We've seen a lot of action up the middle at second base today. Lilio, she had to have had at least 2, maybe even 3. And then we see Hodge right there. A lot of action up the middle with the pitchers. These hitters really going after it, really being aggressive, hitting the ball hard.
Monticelli looking to minimize the damage here. The 0-1 misses outside for a ball.
2 pitches on that outer half, but one slower than the other, a little bit slower on the next pitch. That was great mix of speed with Monticelli, especially with how hard she throws as she comes inside.
1-1, big hack by Jada Coleman, and Monticelli just working the ladder up in the zone. Head here, 1 ball and 2 strikes, and such a shift here in the last couple of batters. Starting to see Monticelli get into some pitchers' counts.
Finally finding that groove. It's tough as a pitcher, especially like we've talked about. She's been in different situations. This is her 4th game here in this battle series, but she's been in a starting role, a relief role, a closing role. So being able to be comfortable in all 3 different positions, because like you said, when Coach Gasso calls your number, you want to be ready no matter where it is.
Monticelli fires the 1-2. Nice location, and Riley Ludlam doing a good job behind the plate handling these pitchers here this evening. Count runs even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Quincy Lilio at third base as Coleman awaits the 2-2.
Talk about painting a corner. I think that was as tight as you could get on that one. That was a great pitch by Monticelli, even though it wasn't a strike 3 call. Brings the count to 3-2. That pitch makes Jada Coleman pause for a second.
Well, they're quality misses, right? Yeah. Your misses as a pitcher, you've got to set up the next pitch as the 3-2 is laced foul and out of play. But so important in the circle to have those quality misses. And hey, Nicole May,
she's ready.
She made it all the way to the left field wall. I'll tell you this much, anything that's within her range, she's going to catch it. She's an athletic pitcher.
Nicole May's ready. Look at her. She's getting positioned. She wants the ball.
Let's see as Monticelli fires 3-2. Nice curveball, and Monticelli's amped up on the called third strike to Jada Coleman and leaves a runner stranded at
a program that's like the UCLA of the 90s, the Arizona of the 90s, where it was back and forth, but they were just so powerhouse heavy. But even then, I don't know as far as the power numbers, if they had that much consistency throughout their lineup instead of just a few hitters.
Avery Hodge set to lead it off for the white team as she faces Kirsten Deal and takes the first pitch she sees in for called strike 1. You know, and something I think that makes those power numbers even more impressive. You know, when you look at a lot of teams and individual players who have good power numbers, usually those high power numbers are also parallel to high strikeout numbers. It's the 0-1. Gets a little chin music and misses up and in. But
that's another reason why they emphasize being so disciplined at the plate, because the temptation to go, oh man, I just cranked that over left field, I want to do it again. That's great, but can you do it again? Can you be consistent? I think a consistent hitter is way more valuable than a hitter who can hit a home run once every 10 times.
With 6 strikeouts peppered in along the way, right?
without being able to accomplish anything else in their other at-bats.
1-2 to Hodge is popped foul, and it's going to get out of play. Deal ahead here, 1 ball and 2 strikes. What do you want to see from Deal in this inning, coming off of inning 1? Not exactly her best start. What do you want to see from the sophomore?
Whenever Deal is on her game, you see a lot of ground balls. You see a lot of rollovers. I'm seeing a lot of pop-ups. So for me, that's telling me that ball's riding up in the zone and it's all on one side. I want to see the ball stay lower in the zone. I want to see a mix of speeds. And then whenever she does go up, it's going to be more of a surprise than the ball naturally rising up. I think the biggest thing, though, is just going after the hitters. We've seen her miss a little bit here, miss a little bit there.
2-2 is popped up on the infield. Quincy Lilio is underneath it at second base, and it's first out of the inning for Kirsten Deal. And already a better start here in the second for the lefty, as Tiare Jennings stands in. One thing I love about this battle series, each of these teams, again, 3 half innings, 3 small offenses, but the pitching staff is all throwing against different offenses. Different hitters are seeing different pitchers inning to inning. It's just a completely different dynamic as the first pitch to Jennings gets away from Kirsten Deal in the dirt. Deal fires the 1-0 and misses upstairs, falls behind here, 2 balls and no strikes. Really want to see Deal make an adjustment, settle in, start letting those pitches move for her. It's the 2-0 paints the outside corner for called strike one, and you hear that
Kinda like
defense
that one.
fire up. Yep.
You felt the firmness behind that. You felt it lower in the zone. And as soon as it came across the plate, like you said, you heard the entire defense, almost a chorus all at once. They were saying, yes, that's the pitch. That's good. We want to see that again.
A nice location. Just misses outside, but that's the crispness that we've come to expect from Kirsten Deal, and just letting it loose. And Alyssa Brito at short, trying to give her pitcher some encouragement. The 3-1 is laced into the Sooner bullpen.
I think that was actually caught by,
I think it was too.
maybe Kelly Maxwell out there, who's warming up on the mound. Yep, there she is. She actually caught that. It was a line drive headed straight for her. Does that count as an out?
If it were Savannah Bananas, yes. That could be another layer to the battle series next year.
Right? That would be a fun matchup. Savannah Bananas against OU softball.
I like it. I like where your head's at.
Should we pitch it?
I think we just did. The 3-2 misses upstairs, and Jennings draws her second walk of the night to bring up Riley Ludlam. And Deal falling behind in counts early, but I will say I feel like the last few pitches to Jennings were looser. Again, crisper movement. Want to see her work ahead as first pitch to Ludlam is lifted to left field and is going to get past a diving Maya Bland on the line. Jennings rounds third. She will score. Riley Ludlam slides into third for a one-out RBI triple.
Ludlam taking advantage. Getting a little speed on her.
Ludlam was off to the races and just found no man's land out in left field. Good effort by Bland.
Yeah, that was a great effort by Bland. You could see where she started was out in left center. But the big thing to know is whenever you're an outfielder going towards a line, you got to be sure if you're diving, you got to be sure that you're going to either catch it or you're going to stop it and nothing's going to get past you. Because if that happens, you'll see a run score and you'll see kind of the same thing that just unfolded. You'll get a triple, you'll get runners advance onto scoring position.
Cassidy Pickering stands in for her third at-bat of the night. She swings straight through the 0-1.
And there's that off speed right there. Completely fooled Pickering. She wasn't even anywhere close. That was a great pitch right there.
Pickering has put up 45 points in this game, had a solo shot back in the first. As she stays alive, count remains no balls and 2 strikes. 1 for 2 here tonight, but in her second at bat in the first inning, hit a line drive shot right back to Peyton Monticelli and got those 5 points for the hard hit. Deal ahead here, no balls and 2 strikes. It's the ground ball to short. Brito is going to fire it to first, and Ludlam will stay at third. And that's a big out from Kirsten Deal, and there's that ground ball you've been looking for, Nicole.
Yeah, with the change of speed, it causes the hitters to guess. You could tell Pickering on that one, another off speed. She was out in front, just kind of waved her bat. That's what you want to see. And so being able to incorporate that and be effective with it, that's going to help Deal a ton as season rolls around.
Avery Hodge takes the first pitch she sees foul down the first baseline. Looking to put another run on the board for the white team. And right now, everybody's chasing Team Gray.
I mean, they had an explosion of an inning. I mean, that's the only way to describe it. They absolutely came out and crushed.
The 0-1 to Hodge shows bunt, but she's going to pull it back for called strike 2. And I feel like we're starting to see Kirsten Deal settle in and settle down.
We saw the same thing with Monticelli. Her second time through, you're starting to see her settle in, settle down, throw more of her pitches versus just kind of warming up, getting everything tested out. And this is her first time also so far this year playing in real cold.
The 0-2 is lifted to center field. Riley Boone's going to get under it, and Kirsten Deal. 3 quick outs to get out of a little bit of a jam. And we head to the middle of the second inning. The Gray team due up. You're watching Sooner Softball, presented by Love.
It's cold, but These fans are bundling up. I see this guy, he just took out a big blanket, wrapped it around his kid.
Came prepared as Riley Boone leads off the middle of the second inning for the gray team, facing Monticelli here in the second. Takes the first pitch low for a ball. The chilly weather has not stopped the Sooner faithful. You gotta love it. Lots of fans out tonight. The 1-0 misses outside. The gray team, as far as runs go, leading in this game 6-2. White and crimson with 2 runs apiece. The 2-0 misses low, and Monticelli behind here, 3 balls and no strikes.
We talked over the break about the pitchers finally settling in, starting to look more comfortable as they've started to warm up and get their pitchers get into a groove. It's important for them to be able to find that inning 1, pitch 1, batter 1, because whenever you start to fall behind, not only do you get those runs scored off of you, but the way the battle series and the point system is set up, you can actually lose points as a pitcher. Boone draws a walk there, but as far as scoring points as a pitcher in this series, if you get an out, the pitcher gets 5 points. If you get a strikeout, it's 5 points plus 2. But for every earned run that the offense makes against you, that's minus 10 points. And for every leadoff hit, that's minus 2 points. So whenever you start to get into the weeds and you still feel your defense and your team start to bleed as a pitcher, that's where you have to say, these runs cannot cross. I cannot allow.
Torres stands in and pops the first pitch she sees up on the infield, and you can see the miscommunication between Riley Ludlam behind the plate and Tiare Jennings at first, and it'll bounce foul, and Torres is going to get another shot, but that's got to be an out every day of the week.
Absolutely. Both of them kind of running towards that ball, but neither one calling. Ludlam a little bit closer. Jennings was playing behind the plate, almost to the grass over there at first, so I think that's Ludlam's ball because that's a far run for Jennings. But at the same time, we want to hear Jennings say, you, but new positions, new players, it's getting comfortable, it's getting adjusted.
And such a big part of all of it is having that strong communication. As the 0-1 is grounded, and Avery Hodge makes a diving play. She's going to toss it across, but Torres will beat it out. The throw gets away, and Riley Boone moves up to third base. Torres taking advantage of Ludlam not keeping an eye on the runner at first base, and good heads-up base running by Alina Torres to get into scoring position. And again, that communication, we're seeing it crumble just a bit.
Yeah, Jennings not used to it. That ball kind of skips. It's a weird short hop. You'd see Riley Boone, she slides in, and as soon as she sees that ball go past, she's immediately heading to third. And then you see Ludlam kind of focused on, okay, there's a runner at third, who's at home, where do I go? And Torres notices that. She notices the distraction, and she's like, you know what, let's get another one.
Hannah Core hitting the ball hard, as we've seen her do all night, right at Tiare Jennings. The run will score from third to make it the 7th run of the night for the gray team, as Jennings will take care of Hannah Core. Hannah Core, that will make her 6th RBI of the game. I was getting a little ahead of myself in the first inning and took an RBI away from Alina Torres, but 7 runs on the board for the gray team at this point. 6 of those have come from the bat of Hannah Core, 1 from Alina Torres, and the gray team just continuing to hit the ball hard as Kinsey Hansen stands in and takes the first pitch high for a ball.
And that was also a called play by Coach Gasso, so another 2 points for whenever something's called, being able to execute it and get it on the ground and do what Coach Gasso is calling.
And that's something that this gray team has just done so well, putting pressure on defenses, as Hansen gets a high hop through the infield and up the middle. Torres will score, and the gray team is relentless here tonight. Their 8th run of the ball game.
Fun to see, and we'll see Jen Rocha coming out, calling time. But whenever you have a team that can execute and be aggressive on the base path and cause the defense to have confusion, that's where you're gonna. It's the first year ever that they get walk-up songs, and I keep hearing the team's walk-up songs, and although yes, I am appalled because for 5 years I never got a walk-up song once. It is cool to hear the team's personality as they're walking up, to hear the songs that they choose.
Riley Boone shows bunt and taps it foul off the first pitch she sees from S.J. Gearin. And Gearin, an opportunity here to work out of a jam. Kinsey Hansen is at first base and trying to shift some momentum, because if you look at this game so far, it has been all gray team. Doesn't matter which defense or which pitcher is in the circle. The 0-1 is laced and just foul down the left field line. And Alyssa Burrito was in Riley Boone's face. She nearly got a glove on it, though. I mean,
I don't know if she could have gotten hit on it, but she nearly got her head taken off.
I'm going to go with she almost got a glove on it. We'll roll with that. Or she almost got her head taken off, one of the two. Either way, Alyssa Burrito was in Riley Boone's kitchen as the 0-2 is down the right field line and gets away from Jennings. Kinsey Hansen will make it all the way to third base, and gray team continuing to put pressure on defenses, force mistakes, and just pass in the bat as Alina Torres stands in with runners at the corners and 1 out. Everything this gray team is doing. Strong base running, and that will be scored an error on Tiare Jennings at first base. As Alina Torres stands in, Riley Boone takes off with the pitch, slides and evades the tag. Hansen's safe at first, but first base umpire is going to say that Riley Boone was out of the baseline. And Coach Gasso making her way out to have a conversation.
Agree with that. Riley Boone slid outside of the baseline, which she was within the 3 feet, but whenever she got up, she also took a couple more steps towards center field. So you'll see her, whenever she slides, she's out, but then she takes a couple steps the other way. That carried her a little bit too far out of the way, and I would say that's past 3 feet. I think that was the right call. And good heads up by Avery Hodge, knowing, yeah, that's too far. I'm not even going to waste my time trying to tag her. I'm going to look up and almost got the runner at third.
2 outs with a runner at third. It's the 1-0, a little bit of off speed from S.J. Gearin, falls in for called strike 1. And you took the words right out of my mouth, Mindy, of Avery Hodge playing heads-up ball and understanding the game and not letting Riley Boone bait her, right? The 1-1 floats in, back-to-back off-speed pitches, but just misses low. Gearin falls behind baiting. 2 balls and 1 strike.
S.J. trying to get her with 2 back-to-back changeups. I've seen the most off-speed out of S.J. in this half inning than I have seen from all the other pitchers combined. I think we've talked about why do you think it is that the hitters have been so successful tonight. I think that's the answer. We talked about the success we've seen S.J. have. We've seen a lot of off-speed from her.
S.J. brings the 2-2. Line drive in the right center field gap. Boone will score as Maya Bland cuts it off, but Alina Torres with her second RBI of the night. And Torres has reached base every time she has come to the plate so far in this ball game. 9 runs put on the board, and this pitch was laced.
Torres almost set up for that outside half pitch. I think that was a great pitch by S.J. But whenever you throw 2 changeups back to back and you have Torres way out in front, she's going to make the adjustment to that timing. So that pitch on the outside half, she was just set up timing-wise to be able to drive that oppo.
First pitch to Anna Core. A little bit of a check swing. Gearin ahead here, no balls and 1 strike. And I agree with you, Nicole. You want to see a better 2-strike pitch.
I think maybe something inside, at least to blow her back off, something like that. It's not going to blow you away, but whenever you're a hitter and you're facing slow and slow and slow, and then you get sped up on the inside half, that's what's going to change.
Hannah Core having a heck of a night. First inning alone, 3 for 3 with a pair of doubles, a home run, and 5 RBI. So athletic and so dynamic in everything that she can do. Riley Ludlam at first, Kinsey Hansen behind the plate, as Alyssa Brito stands in to face Kirsten Deal. Crimson team with a pair of runs on the board, both coming from the bat of Alyssa Brito. A 2-run shot back in the first inning entered this game, leading the Battle Series leaderboard with 454 points as the 1-0 misses upstairs, and Deal behind here, 2 balls and no strikes. So important for Kirsten Deal in this inning to work ahead and throw pitchers pitches as she fires a 2-0. And speaking of pitcher's pitch, paints the outside corner on a tough count to Alyssa Brito, makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Deal gets the sign and fires a 2-1 and just misses low.
I'm looking at the points from tonight, and I mean, by far, Hannah Core, she has 88 points on the night. The second most behind her is also on her team, Melina Torres, with 58.
3-1 ground ball to Torres at third base. She'll make it routine for the first out of the inning, and I love seeing that location in a hitter's count coming from Kirsten Deal to get the first out of this inning. Ground balls and letting the defense work. Brings up Quincy Lilio.
Like you said, just getting settled in, being able to be comfortable with her pitches, being able to be loose and trust her pitches.
Good look at Hannah Core out in right field.
The woman of the night.
Tell you what.
Definitely going to get an MVP tonight. I mean, we still have 3 innings left to go.
Nicole. We've got a lot of ball game.
It would be kind of crazy if you get 6 RBIs and you're not one of the MVPs.
1-0 to Quincy Lilio. Catches the bottom quadrant of the zone for called strike 1. Count runs to 1 ball and 1 strike. I got to agree with you there. I mean, Hannah Core seeing the ball well. The 1-1 misses upstairs.
And I mean, you got to love it for her, too. She was out last year with a back injury. She had the speed. She had, Coach Gasso talks all the time about how she's one of the best outfielders that she's ever seen as far as getting reads, getting great jumps on the ball.
2-1 misses low.
It was just the back injury kind of held her back a little bit, especially swinging all that rotation. And now you see her come out and have a game like this. Can't help but love that for her. Want to see more of that.
No question. And, you know, Hannah Core, and seeing her, we've seen her in a lot of pinch running roles here as of late, as you mentioned, the back injury, but man, so exciting to see her have a night like she's had here so far tonight. And the best part of all of it is we still have a lot of game left. Hannah Core has a lot of at-bats to go.
I'm excited to see what she does.
And she's doing it off of different pitchers, as well as the pitchers are kind of rotating through each of these teams. As 3-1 misses low, and Quincy Lilio is aboard with her 2nd walk of the night.
A little bit of fire there from the red team. They're fired up that she gets a walk, but they also know, hey, we want to win this inning. We have a chance. The runs to beat, they need 4 to win the inning, 3 to tie it. That's 10 free points for everybody on the team. That's what you want to do. Can you win? It's okay if they win 1 inning. Don't let them win 2 in a row. Don't let them win any more than that. That's what red team's after.
Nellie McEnroe Marinas taking a hack of the first pitch she sees, and Avery Hodge is as smooth as ever.
Smooth criminal right there.
Just up the middle, dragging the bag with her foot as she fires it to roll a pair, and Tell you this much. Avery Hodge is one heck of a middle infielder. We head to the top of the third inning. White team due up.
NCAA championship in the spring.
It was a catch heard round the world. Avery Hodge, the #1 play on ESPN, top 10 plays. And we just saw a little bit of that leather that she flashes to end the second inning, rolling up the double play herself. And, you know, everything that Avery Hodge does and what we've seen from her so far in this battle series, it has just been so impressive. The composure and the smoothness that she has up the middle.
Yeah, defensively, she has shown out time and time again. She's proven that not only does she have the footwork to be able to get to balls in time, but she has the release point, the quickness to be able to make those plays. I mean, we saw the way she drug her toe across the bag, and then the quickness to be able to release it and get that double play. She knows how the pace of the game goes. She's able to think 1, 2, maybe even 3 steps ahead of what's going to happen before it does. I mean, the anticipation and that softball IQ is off the charts.
Riley Ludlam in to face Kelly Maxwell. And a hitter's count here, 3 balls and a strike, 1 for 2 here tonight with an RBI triple. As Maxwell, the lefty, looks to bring the count back as the rise ball swung straight through, bring the count full.
Ludlam is actually batting for Kinsey Hansen. Kinsey Hansen and her have switched spots. So last inning, we saw Kinsey Hansen behind the plate instead of Ludlam. That's why she's up here batting, if you're confused. Just a quick switch.
3-2 is fouled back. And so many changes, so much movement going on defensively and obviously in the circle. As Kelly Maxwell fires the 3-2 pitch and just misses low. And it's a leadoff walk for the white team to bring up the freshman Cassidy Pickering. And we've seen a lot of walks so far in this ball game, regardless of what pitcher is in the circle. Do you think we've talked so much?
Seen 5.
Yes, 5 walks, all between Monticelli, Maxwell, and Deal. As the lefty-lefty matchup here, as the freshman Pickering takes the first pitch she sees for called strike 1. We've talked about it being a little chilly. We see the Sooner fans bundled up. But do you think the cold weather has anything to do with some of the walks that we've seen here tonight?
Maybe a little.
0-1 is in for called strike 2, and Maxwell ahead here, no balls and 2 strikes.
It's the first time that it's been cold and this team has had to play in it, especially going this late into the night. But at the same time, it's not the first time they've ever played in cold weather before. I think mentally, maybe a batter, maybe 2. But after that, making the adjustment. I mean, it's easier said than done because I'm sitting up here nice and warm and toasty as I'm watching the game unfold below me. But to be great in all things, to be an Oklahoma Sooner, that is what they do. That is the expectation of it's cold for everybody. Somebody has to figure it out. So it has to be us, and we have to do it soon. We have to do it quickly.
Pickering stays alive. She awaits the 1-2 from Kelly Maxwell. Pickering, solo shot back in the first inning. It's the 1-2 loops in, but just misses outside. Count runs even to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Got to see the support a couple seconds ago from Toby, the sport admin for softball. He's done a lot to advocate, not just for the girls on the field, but also off the field, leading the charge with a lot of NIL initiatives, helping with the construction of Love Stadium, being able to bring in more seating to be able to expand the visual for what softball is, not just here on campus, but here in the state, here across the country. He's really done a lot for this program.
The
And then, of
Papio
course,
is full tonight.
Jim Gasso is bundled up in his white parka. You can't miss him.
A full Papio. Maxwell fires the 2-2 and misses upstairs, and Pickering having a good at-bat, working this count. Full, seeing a lot of pitches, and the freshman has shown so much discipline in this battle series in the box.
Rookie versus the vet right here.
Maxwell fires the 3-2 and misses low, and it's back-to-back walks in the inning for Kelly Maxwell to bring up Avery Hodge with runners at first and second and nobody out. And Kelly Maxwell entering this game today with 129 points. The Oklahoma State transfer, and you know, I feel like I've said this time and time again. Kelly Maxwell throughout her career has been one of my favorite pitchers to watch in the way that she moves the ball and just the demeanor that she has in the circle as Avery Hodge shows bunt and bunts right, pushes right through for strike one. But a little bit of a jam here. Runners at first and second, nobody out as Coach Gasso calls time to have a chat with Avery Hodge. And Coach Jen Rocha out to the circle. Lots of meetings in this game.
I think we're seeing a lot of people out of certain positions. We're seeing a lot of chaos, a lot of confusion amongst the defense. It's forcing them to realize, okay, we need to work here. We need to talk here. This is a new position for a lot of these players. So there's bound to be that kind of, okay, whenever I'm here, what do I do? Where do I be? Are you going to be here? So you can see them talk amongst each other, infield versus outfield, left side versus right side. And I think it's so great that they're able to be tested in a tough game-like situation to be able to figure this out now. Who wants to figure this out in February whenever you're playing a top 10 matchup? Not me.
No question. And meetings are over as Avery Hodge is set to face off with Kelly Maxwell in an 0-1 count. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Slapping, and it's going to roll down the line, and Jada Coleman's going to let it go foul for strike two. And communication at times we've seen break down a bit. Jada Coleman, another one of those players out of position right now, playing first base, but good communication between the two seniors.
No stranger to the infield, though. I think sometimes we forget Jada Coleman came in as a freshman my senior year and all fall practiced at shortstop. She didn't even touch the outfield. She had played the outfield maybe a handful of times, but she would be the first one to tell you, I'm not an outfielder, I'm an infielder. And she would let us know, everyone. She would let everybody know that. She's not a stranger to being in the infield, knowing how to take angles, communicate in that infield, being able to pick a ball. She's comfortable in that position. Now, will we see her there all the time? I don't think so. But if we do, as in her own words, she knows how to play the infield. She's an infielder as well.
No question, just a pure ball player, pure athlete, pure competitor. The 1-2 to Avery Hodge. Stays alive. Tapped foul, and Kelly Maxwell throwing some good two-strike pitches here to Avery Hodge.
DJ, we always stay on the same level, because I was just thinking, man, I love the way she expanded the zone on that pitch, especially with the slapper.
Yep.
Getting ahead. We are so in sync this evening. I love it. High five.
There we go. And there it is again, working out off the plate with the curveball to get Avery Hodge swinging for the first out of the inning. We're going to see a couple shifts as far as base running goes, and Avery Hodge will head to second base for Riley Ludlam, but what a great two-strike curveball.
And the adjustment on this one, it's the same exact location as the pitch before that was barely fouled off, but Maxwell was able to see that fouled off and go, okay, let me just bring it down half a ball. And that's where you get the swing through. That's where you get the adjustment. That was a great heads up, mid-pitch, mid-at-bat adjustment.
Riley Ludlam stands in. Started this third inning by drawing a leadoff walk. Maxwell fires the 1-0 and paints the inside corner with that curveball, just breaking the knee. Count runs even to 1 ball and 1 strike. Ludlam, a pair of walks here tonight with an RBI triple, 54 points that she's put on the board.
Can't forget that triple. Ludlam showed off that speed for sure. Diving play down the line, and she made the most of it. Picked up an RBI too.
Maxwell fires the 1-1, misses inside, gets away from Hansen, but she recovers quickly. And Hodge will stay put at second base. Kinsey Hansen, K9, if you will. I mean, just handles this pitching staff unbelievably. 2-1, just misses outside as Hansen fires down and Hodge dives back in safely.
Great eye by Hansen. Hodge, she's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger leads. And especially in this game, you don't want a runner on second to have a 2-3 step advantage if a ball's hit to the outfield, if a ball's hit softly to your shortstop. You want them to be as close to the bag as possible.
A 3-1, catch the outside corner for called strike 2, and the count runs full. You know, we talk so much about everything that Kinsey Hansen physically can do, but her softball IQ is off the charts. And again, I go back to, I don't know if she gets enough love for the way that she has managed this pitching staff over the years. So much of that success, I feel like Kinsey Hansen has so much to do with it, as Ludlam stays alive on the 3-2 pitch.
You know it's cold right now. You can see Kelly Maxwell, her nose, her cheeks, everything's bright red. It is chilly this evening. The sun long gone.
We were talking too, you know, some of those things you don't want to figure out in February. You know, all of these players have played in cold weather throughout their careers, as Maxwell fires a 3-2 and it's lifted to right field. Hannah Core will make the catch and everyone will stay put as she fires it in quickly. And 2 quick outs from Kelly Maxwell will bring up the freshman Cassidy Pickering, and Maxwell an out away from working around back-to-back walks to start this inning.
Talk about getting settled in, getting your pitchers in order. Great job by Core. Core and Riley Boone were both tracking that ball probably until the last second, but Core called Boone off at the last minute, and you could tell why. Whenever she caught that, she was able to have the better angle to throw to third. She has a heck of an arm. That was a laser that was cut off by Brito, but the advantage is definitely with right field calling off that ball.
All smiles from Hannah Core, as she should be.
Snaps out for all around.
Having a night, as the 1-0 to Cassidy Pickering is in for called strike 1. Speaking of having a night, the freshman Cassidy Pickering,
all smiles from her.
All smiles at a home run. RBI back in the first. Drew a walk in this inning.
She got out in the first inning as well with a hard hit, but it was a line drive that popped off the leg of Monticelli and bounced over to third, and Torres was able to throw her out. But I mean, that was an absolute rock. It was a great hit.
One of the hardest hit balls we've seen here tonight. And you know, we've talked a lot about the scoring system along with this game. It was an out in the scorebook, right? But goes down, Pickering earning points for the hard hit, even on the out. As the 2-1 misses low, and Maxwell falls behind again, 3 balls and a strike. Calls time, wants to have a little chat with her catcher, Kinsey Hansen.
You can see they're actually using new technology. We're not seeing the call cards. We're seeing little tiny screen with the pitches flash up. So it makes it a lot easier, a lot less confusion, not as easily picked off by other teams. So, you know, you test that out for the first time this year.
3-1, Mrs. Lowe, and good discipline as we've seen here tonight. That is Pickering's second walk in the inning. And that'll load them up for Avery Hodge with 2 outs. Every runner on base right now has been put on by way of the walk. 3 walks in this inning. First pitch to Hodge, Mrs. Lowe. Maxwell looking to find the zone. And we're going to see again the shifting as Tiare Jennings heads to second base. And got some crimson, Kirsten Deal at third.
The pitchers are getting all in on the action tonight.
Maxwell fires the 1-0, ground ball to Lilio at second. And she'll fire it over to take care of Hodge. And Maxwell works out of a bases loaded jam to leave them all stranded. We're gonna head to the middle of the third. You're watching Sooner Softball, presented by Lowe's Travel Stops, the heart of the highway.
Meet Sam, the ultimate road trip warrior. Sam's
Right up there with them.
Kinsey Hansen stands in, takes the first pitch she sees in for called strike 1 from S.J. Guerin. But, you know, that's a good point. I mean, Alyssa Burrito, Tiare Jennings, both entering this game. And we'll get you the updated Battle Series scores as this game progresses. But both entered Game 4 here tonight. 1 and 2, respectively, in points. And Jada Coleman, 8th overall, but leading the charge as far as Battle Series points walking into this game. It's the 1-1. Kinsey Hansen just misses low. But I will say this, great team. Kinsey Hansen included, who is currently 3rd in points. The great team has racked up some points of their own. Hansen 2 for 4 here tonight with a pair of singles.
They're running away with
RBI.
it.
They are. A nice location from Guerin. Getting Hansen leaning, but just misses outside, and she falls behind 3 balls and a strike. But you said it, Mindy, this great team running away, but as far as runs go, 9 runs here tonight. Just an offensive explosion, but winning every inning so far. And great team. Leading off the third with a leadoff walk. In every inning they have had their leadoff on.
And it makes it more fun whenever you can cause the chaos, whenever you can be disciplined, you can continue to come up, get multiple at-bats in 1 inning. Yes, there's only 4, but great team obviously has cracked the code a little bit on that balance of being aggressive.
Riley Boone gets a jammed ground ball, but Tiare Jennings plays the hop to throw Boone out at first base as Hansen moves up into scoring position. Nice location by S.J. Guerin, but Tiare Jennings playing the high hop to bring up Alina Torres.
Just see that swap between Jennings and Q. Flip-flop between first and second base.
First pitch to Torres, misses upstairs. Torres has reached base every time she has come to the plate tonight. 3 for 3, drew a walk, has a pair of RBIs and a pair of runs scored. Having a night at the plate. The 1-0 loops in for called strike 1, and there's that off speed.
I mean, SJ came in, though, and she shut him down. And by shut him down, I mean they only scored 3 runs instead of 6. But she did a great job keeping this team off balance, because that is what they have been able to do to score so many runs, is keep the defense off balance. So whenever SJ comes in, she's keeping the great team off balance. So being able to keep them guessing going into this inning is going to be important to minimize the damage.
Guerin ahead here, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ground ball to Avery Hodge at short. She'll fire it across, and Torres is retired for the first time here tonight. Hansen moves up to third, but the gray team, 2 quick outs coming from Guerin after the walk to Kinsey Hansen, and opportunity to keep the gray team off the board for the first time here tonight, but you got to go through Hannah Core to get there.
And to be fair, they scored most of their runs in the first inning with 2 outs.
First offering, Core paints the outside corner of called strike 1. Core 3 for 5, 98 points earned here tonight. Shows bunt, and she'll tap it foul, and showed bunt on an off-speed pitch, but not able to get anything done. And Guerin ahead here, no balls and 2 strikes.
This is SJ's second appearance, second inning, if you will. And what both teams who have come up against her haven't done is adjust to that off speed, to be expecting that off speed quickly.
And speaking of off speed, that one will bounce in the dirt to get away from Riley Ludlam, and Riley Boone, who was pinch running at third base, will come around to score. And just as you thought, the gray team was on the ropes. They get another run across with 2 outs to make it 10 runs for the gray team. And they have put runs on the board every which way here tonight.
Got to figure out how to do it.
Line drive to left center field. It's going to get past Coleman and all the way to the wall. Hannah Core will slide in safely for a 2-out double. And Hannah Core is seeing the ball well. Goodness gracious.
I mean, this pitch, not over the middle of the plate. You can see Core almost out in front just a little bit. But what she does is she's able to hold her posture. She's able to keep that barrel through the zone, not come off of it at all, but stay through it the whole way through. Not only does that earn a double, but it also earns a C. That ball rocketed off her bat to get her another couple of points there.
That will push Hannah Core up over 100 points so far in this game. As Hansen takes the first pitch low for a ball. Hansen got this inning going for the gray team with a leadoff walk, and her place in the lineup eventually came around to score. So that ground ball is going to trickle foul. Gray team 10 runs on the board. White and crimson each have 2, but inside of all of that, again, so many points being earned. Kinsey Hansen, 44 points, 2 for 4. Scored a run and has an RBI, but every single opportunity, you feel like this gray team has taken advantage. And Hansen is going to keep the 2-out rally going. Here comes Core. She rounds and is going to slide in for the 11th run. Hansen, another RBI slotted up as she reads the throw and gets into scoring position. And gray team doing so much of this with 2 outs.
This one, not a bad pitch at all. Hansen actually tops this, but she is just so strong. She's able to get it right in that 5-6 hole. And Core, talk about that speed. It wasn't like that ball took her off her to the left or anywhere crazy that Pickering wouldn't be able to throw her out. It's just, she's just that fast. She just has that kind of speed. And that was a great slide by her, getting out of reach of Ludlam at home.
Riley Boone, the lefty senior, stands in. Shows bunt. It's going to roll foul. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike.
If I were to have one complaint tonight for offense, and I
Okay,
feel like they've done such a great job that it's kind of hard to have too many, but I can recall at least 3 bunt offers, attempts, and not one of them have been laid down. Now, I'm not saying you need to bunt all the time, but I am saying that if you're going to offer, you should be able to get it down. That's a whole new level of a game that opens up for this team, that they're able to get it down versus they offer, but how many times do they actually go fair?
Absolutely, and a couple of them have been on off-speed pitches. As Riley Boone swinging on the pitch, it actually hits her, but because she was swinging, it'll be ruled a strikeout. And Guerin picks up Maya Bland, trying to help get something rolling for the Crimson team. She shows bunt and bunts straight through, and kind of goes back to your point, Mindy, that you made in the middle of the third. You're going to show bunt. We've seen so many bunt attempts by each team here tonight. Show bunt, get it down, put some pressure on this infield. Maxwell fires the 0-1. A little bit of change of speeds to fool Maya Bland, and Maxwell ahead here quickly. No balls and 2 strikes. Maxwell rocks and fires. Ground ball right back to Kelly Maxwell in the circle. And she'll sit down Bland for the first out of the third. Maxwell walked the bases loaded when she entered this ball game, getting a quick out as Jada Coleman stands in. She's drawing a walk and come around to score a run. First pitch she sees misses low.
Talked about the Big 12 offensive leaders, Jada Coleman being one of them.
Nice curveball from Maxwell, paints the outside corner for called strike 1. And Kelly's really relied on that curveball here tonight. We've seen her use it a ton, especially against the lefties that she's faced. She fires the 1-1 ground ball right back to the circle, and Maxwell taking care of both outs so far in this inning. And 2 quick outs will bring up Alyssa Burrito.
2 quick outs doing the same pitch. I mean, if it's working, no need to try to reinvent the wheel. Definitely has started to see more and more off speed incorporated. You're starting to see later break with Maxwell's curve, especially away from the lefties. Always an advantage whenever she gets that lefty-lefty matchup. She loves being able to work both sides of the plate with them.
Alyssa Burrito slowing things down a little bit. A little bit of that game within the game, right? You see a pitcher get 2 quick outs. Your job as a hitter is to take a minute. Make the pitcher stand out there and wear it for a minute. But Burrito makes her way to the box, and Kelly Maxwell an out away from being the first pitcher to have a 1-2-3 inning in this ball game so far. There's not a single pitcher who has sat any Sooner offense down in order yet tonight. And Maxwell ahead here, no balls and a strike to Alyssa Burrito. The 0-1 fouled straight back, and Maxwell ahead here, no balls and 2 strikes.
Pitchers actually get +3 points if they get a 10 or less pitch inning, so she's on pace.
Opportunity here for Maxwell to rack up some points. As she fires the 0-2 and misses low. Burrito 1 for 2 here tonight with the 2-run home run back in the first inning, and that's been all she wrote for the Crimson team as far as runs scored. Maxwell shakes, gets what she wants, and brings the 1-2. This is out, count runs even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's a third backdoor that we've seen that's kind of gone wide. It's hard for a lefty, I feel like whenever you're facing a right-handed batter, to make that backdoor really curve back over. Whenever you face lefties, you have the visual of a target. It's a little bit harder whenever you don't have that target there.
2-2 dribbler right in front of Maxwell. She'll spin, and it's 3 outs. And the Sooner player that is mic'd up this week. And, you know, I think what I love about that more is she's got just a calming voice and demeanor as Riley Ludlam stands in. But when she gets fired up, it's hard not to, like, get amped up with her.
You got to join in.
Yes.
You can't resist.
But then she'll calm you down.
I was just thinking, this player right here, you can see just how calm she is behind the plate, just kind of blinking at her pitcher. Good pitch, shows a hard back. That's the same girl that was at first over there about to bust out the mic because she was cheering so loud. I just love that.
I think that's a great quality for a catcher.
All the sides of Kinsey Hansen.
The 1-1 to Riley Ludlam misses low, and Guerin falls behind here, 2 balls and a strike.
You know, she refers to herself as a muscle mommy. Do you know what that means?
I don't, but
it means she lifts heavy weights, and she's really, really strong.
I believe that. No question. 2-1 is hit well to right field. Core's on her way back, and she'll make the catch at the warning track. Ludlam gave it a ride, but Hannah Core is there to make the first out of the inning.
Again, being able to make great first step reactions as an outfielder. Your first step kind of determines the way the rest of the way the catch is going to go. If you're going to catch it, if you're going to miss it, track it down. She does such a good job on her first step, her first reaction, almost every single time.
Cassidy Pickering stands in, takes the first pitch at the knee for called strike 1.
Astray has been grooving with these first pitch strikes. She's been the most consistent, not just with the first strike, but also the conversion to getting the second strike down. And there it is again, another missed bunt on and off speed. I like how we're gesturing to each other because we could probably finish each other's sentences at this point.
It's the number 11 connection.
It is.
Guerin ahead here, no balls and 2 strikes. And nice 2-strike location, just misses. But I love the pitch, the height, because all it does is set up the next pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Pickering. Guerin fires and misses up and in, but again, that's that sequence.
It's a great pitch too. You can see Pickering kind of turn into it, turn away from it, kind of bulk back. Whether she goes back on the inside pitch, whether she goes off speed again, the timing is messed up for that outside. And there it is right there, that whiff, that swing and a miss on that outside corner. SJ has got in her rhythm. She's gotten her groove. She's attacking these hitters in a way that keeps them guessing.
And that is all just flat out pitch sequence. Keeping Pickering off balance. Textbook when it comes to pitch location. And it's 2 quick outs for SJ Guerin to bring up Avery Hodge with nobody on. And first pitch to Hodge. In for called strike 1. Guerin efficient. We're starting to see a little bit of a shift early in this game. Offense leading the charge, and Kelly Maxwell with a 1-2-3 inning. SJ Guerin on the verge of a 1-2-3 inning of her own, and the 0-1 missed somewhere for a ball, but again, good locations coming from SJ.
I think also as a pitcher, when you've proven you can get ahead, you're more likely to get away with those pitchers' pitches. Tight on the inside, not a strike, a ball, but in that river, that's okay because these hitters know it's not going to be another ball and then another ball, another ball. They know strikes coming immediately after that. So they're on their toes. They're ready to be defensive.
Guerin fires the 2-1, and it loops in, and behind here, 3 balls and a strike. But, you know, we've talked so much about working ahead and first pitch strikes. You can't live in the river if you're not ahead in counts, plain and simple.
Especially when you have hitters as disciplined as they've shown all 3 teams tonight.
3-1 misses upstairs, and it's a 2-out walk for Avery Hodge to extend the inning and roll the lineup back over to Riley Ludlam.
That's SJ Guerin's first walk tonight.
And the walk numbers overall for every single team have been very high. Team 1 alone, that is their 6th walk.
7 total.
From Team 1. So 7th, excuse me. First pitch to Ludlam, loops in, a little off speed for called strike 1. Double-digit walks delivered overall from pitchers here tonight. The 0-1 is way outside. Avery Hodge with a good jump, and she'll slide in safely. The stolen base to get into scoring position, and Riley Ludlam an opportunity with 2 outs here to get the white team on the board.
Great job by Hodge. That throw by Hansen, just an awkward bounce, but I think Brito had a great tag. Yeah, I think she might have tied, might have gotten her. I don't know. But that was a great quick tag by Brito to be able to recover from that throw.
Made that play a lot closer than it should have been. And on top of all that, great slide by Avery Hodge.
Yeah, sliding away, trying to avoid getting her leg tagged. That was great heads-up base running. Not only does she do it on the field, she can do it offensively, base running as well.
Count runs even at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Riley Ludlam. Guerin looking to hang a 0 here in the top of the 4th inning. She fires the 2-2. Ludlam grounds it foul. We'll do it again.
We're also starting to see SJ come in on these hitters a little bit more this inning, talking again about the adjustments. Last inning that we saw SJ, we talked about how none of the hitters had adjusted to the off speed. Now she's incorporating another aspect. Now they have to think about, okay, it's not crazy fast, but it's inside. I got to be ready.
2-2 is laced to right field. A diving Hannah Core almost makes the catch, and it bounces out of her glove. Little slow to get up. You hate to see that. She looks to be okay out in right field as Hodge comes around to score. And Riley Ludlam has taken the ball to the right side all day. Finally gets one to fall, but
yeah, that's
great
so
effort.
Tough. As she dove, she had it in her glove as she dove, but whenever she landed, that hand wasn't able to turn around, kind of keep the basket facing the sky, and that's whenever the ball kind of rolled out of her glove. That was a great effort, great read.
Cassidy Pickering stands in, hits this well to center field. It's got a shot, and it's going to get out of here to the deepest part of the ball field. The white team doing it with 2 outs and make it the 2nd home run of the night for the freshman.
You love to see that, being able to recover from almost not being able to score at all to getting that runner on base. And then you have Pickering here taking that low and away pitch, driving it, being able to set up her timing for something slower, later timing, driving that up the middle.
And that Sooner home run is proudly brought to you by Paycom. Score big by letting employees do their own payroll. Learn more at paycom.com. And how quickly this lineup rolled back to Avery Hodge, who started the 2-out rally by drawing a walk. She came around to score on an RBI single from Riley Ludlam, and Avery Hodge back at it again as the 1-0 loops in for a called strike.
And again, SJ's challenge here is to be able to work in and out of the zone, working fast and slow. Not sticking in one place too often, but making these hitters off balance.
And speaking of off balance, back-to-back off speeds.
Now she's just toying with him.
Gearing on top here, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The white team making a run, 5 runs overall on the line drive to Brito, and so smooth it's short. To throw Hodge out. Jada Coleman having a little bit of fun at first base. But not after the freshman puts up a 2-run shot. We're in the middle of the 4th inning as Kelly Maxwell is going to try to keep the gray team at bay. They've put up 11 runs on the night, and Alina Torres comes out hacking. First pitch and fouls it straight back for strike 1. Couple of changes defensively as Maya Bland has moved over to left, Cassidy Pickering in center, and Kirsten Deal in right. The pitchers getting their time in the outfield tonight as the 0-1 is lifted right to Kirsten Deal, and right field, she'll make the catch. Doesn't matter where you're at, the ball will always find you.
It does not matter where you're at. I love that. They're ready to go, and she's so calm after it too. Explaining how she caught that, a big leap back, put up her glove.
Be
right
an athlete,
there,
man. First out brings up Hannah Core, and what a night Hannah Core has had. She has put up 131 points with 5 RBI. Now here's the wild part. Hannah Core by herself has put up more points individually than the entire Crimson team.
I mean, that's okay, right?
128 for the Crimson team here tonight and 1 RBI. Hannah Core has 5 by herself. As the 1-0 misses low and away, and Maxwell behind here at 2 balls and no strikes. But Hannah Core doing a little bit of everything. Almost made a great catch in the top half of this inning. And, you know, it's going to go down as an RBI hit for Ludlam, and Ludlam's seeing the ball well, but Hannah Core gets that shot again. She catches that ball, no question.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm
just loving the effort out of her, the total commitment. I think that's what we're seeing is the buy-in and the commitment of this is it. I'm buying in. I'm going in on this swing. I'm going in on this dive, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but you're not going to say that I did it halfway.
Hannah Core just in it tonight. It's going to be tough to, and again, we still have some game left. I'm not jumping. I'm not going to jump. I'm not going to put the cart before the horse here, but it's going to be tough for someone to beat out Hannah Core for player of the game as a 2-2 just misses inside for ball 3, and a little bit of a grin from Kelly Maxwell. Nice location as the count runs full.
That was a pretty pitch. I will say, if anybody can do it, it might be Pickering, who's had 2 home runs this game.
Full count pitch. Tapped foul, and Core stays alive. Went off her shin.
Especially in this weather, you want to take a second, shake that out a bit.
Yeah, it stings a little more when it's
it does.
November and a little chilly.
Stings a little more at night.
Maxwell gets the sign. Fires the 3-2. Swing and a miss, and Hannah Core is sat down for the second out of the inning, and Kelly Maxwell has really settled in nicely and just throwing BBs.
That back door working for her against the righties. We saw last half inning she threw. Struggled to get on that corner, not on that pitch. That one was exactly where it needed to be. Great job by Maxwell.
2 quick outs brings up Kinsey Hansen. Hansen having a night as well. Pitch misses way inside with the curveball. Hansen kind of gives a little bit of a look back at her pitcher saying, hey.
Got skinny.
Let's go.
She said, hey, I got to catch you next inning.
Well, we've got her mic'd up. I'd like to hear that conversation.
Probably something along the lines of, man, you almost hit me.
1-0. Misses in the dirt. And a couple pitches getting away from Maxwell here with nobody on and 2 outs. Kinsey Hansen has come around to score 3 times here tonight. It's drawn a walk and has just been all over the base paths. 2-0 just misses outside, and it's a 3-0 count.
See that back door that we had against Core, just a little bit firmer on that front side. I think Maxwell will be able to get that back door to cut across just half a ball more, and she'll get that strike call.
Well, we've talked about it a lot too, Nicole. The attack mode of a hitter, as it's a 4-pitch walk to Kinsey Hansen, but that pitch looks a lot different on a 1-2 count than it does on a 2-0 count.
It feels a lot different from the perspective of a hitter, from the perspective of an umpire as well. You're anticipating something a little different.
And we've talked about this a bit as Riley Boone stands in with a runner at first and 2 outs, but we've seen a lot of walks overall from this Sooner pitching staff here tonight as a whole. First pitch to Boone, misses outside, and that's 5 straight balls delivered by Kelly Maxwell. But you're more likely to get the borderline call as a whole when you've been around the zone. And not to say that Maxwell hasn't been around that zone, because she has. But there have been, again, double-digit walks delivered by pitchers as a whole tonight.
Great job by Coleman, just going up, talking to Kelly real quick, just resetting her 6 straight balls in a row. You can't go on too much longer without somebody saying, hey, we just need a quick reset and then get back on the game.
And whatever she said works. 2-0 falls in for called strike 1. I love kind of seeing Jada at first base in the terms of, you watch Coleman, we're so used to seeing her in center field, but she gives that same support from center field. It's kind of cool to see her at first base to be that close to a pitcher. As a little check swing from Riley Boone, they're going to say she held for ball 3. Hansen will stay at first, but I like her having that close proximity to the pitcher. And I take that back. After the check, they're going to say that Boone did not hold.
And there's that energy from Jada Coleman.
There we go. Strike 2, and count runs even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Maxwell rocks and fires, and it's popped up, but it's going to get out of play.
A little bit of action call there. Kinsey Hansen was on the run.
And on that check swing, Boone trying to hold up and not quite able as that barrel passes through the plate. But if anything, she sold it.
She sold it. I thought she held up. She got me. She tricked me.
2-2 ground ball up the middle. Lilio's going to flip it, and Hodge stretches it out to throw Kinsey Hansen out at second base. And I'll tell you what, up the middle, we have seen some gems here tonight. Quincy Lilio just making it look simple, but Avery Hodge with the stretch to get out of the inning. We head to the bottom half of the 4th inning.
Sweet. You can see Jen Rocha talking to Coach Gass. So Jen Rocha actually played on Reese Field. Yep. She coached here, and then she's going to be heading over to coach at Love Stadium. And I just think of what it means to the coaches to be able to see that progression. I think of one of my very first times listening to Coach speak. Whenever they have meetings, we'll have what we call classroom time, and you'll get to meet with Coach, and she'll show us a video, or she'll talk to us about a story, and we just talk the mental side of the game. And she brought up the fact that Pat Summitt was one of her idols whenever she was growing up, and how she so admired what she did for female sports, and how she was a champion for females everywhere, not just athletics, but everywhere.
Quincy Lilio leading off the bottom of the 4th for the Crimson team with a single off of Nicole May, who has entered this game. First half inning for Nicole May, the senior, walks into the battle series with 321 points. Coming into today was sitting in the 5th slot as far as points go. But Lilio getting some things moving for the Crimson team, who it's got a little bit of work to do as this game is starting to get later. 2 runs on the board puts them in 3rd as of now. And that'll bring up Nellie McEnroe Marinas. But to go back to your point, Nicole, I mean, it's, you know, Coach Gasso, and I remember that story as well. You know, someone who she looked at as such an advocate for women's sports and everything that Pat Summitt did. Coach will probably hate me for saying this, but that's how people view Coach Gasso.
Absolutely.
And rightfully so. Everything that she has done, not just for this program, but for college softball, for women's sports, unprecedented.
And I think it's the willingness to be unyielding when it comes to your standards, when it comes to your expectations, whenever it comes to how you're treated, how you treat others. She is so consistent with that, and that bleeds over from her personal beliefs onto this team. And you see that with how they play, with the kind of players that she recruits, the kind of women that go out of this program. It's an evolution.
May behind here, 2 balls and a strike. The 2-1 catches the outside corner and count runs even to 2 balls and 2 strikes. And speaking of evolution, Nicole May and how much she has progressed in her time here in Norman, from a freshman to now a senior, and everything that she has accomplished and how much she has grown as the 2-2 is grounded to Torres, and they're going to throw out McEnroe Marinas at first base, and Lilio will move up into scoring position to bring up Maya Bland. Torres has been really solid at 3rd here tonight. I don't think we've given her enough love defensively.
Scooping it up so well. And something about the firmness of her throws, just a nice little shuffle and then a laser over to first. Just itches that part of my brain. I'm like, ah, that looks so good.
Maya Bland, the freshman, 0 for 2 here tonight. Aggressive first pitch as she fouls it straight back. The Crimson team has not been real explosive offensively here tonight.
Yeah, and after Lilio got that at bat and she got her pinch runner, we saw Jada Coleman was at short, Avery Hodge at second. Jada Coleman just came off the field. Avery Hodge shifted over to short, and then Lilio out to second. But like we said, we have seen it all here tonight. It doesn't matter who you are, where you play. If you want to get in the game, coach is going to put you in the game, but just maybe not where you might expect.
May fires the 1-1. Good job by Kinsey Hansen. May behind here, 2 balls and a strike. I feel like that's something we've seen from every pitcher so far tonight, having a tough time of coming out of the gates, whether it be out of the bullpen or even starting the game. We go back to the first inning. But watching pitchers tonight, no matter who it is, coming into this game and working behind in counts early. Bland pops it sky high and on the infield in foul territory. Riley Ludlam gets under it, and she'll make the catch for the 2nd out of the inning. And if there were points given out for how high you can hit a ball, I think Maya Bland may have gotten a few. But 2 outs for Nicole May brings up Jada Coleman. And talking about Quincy Lilio as Maya Bland heads out to second base to run in what would be Lilio's spot. Lilio is at second playing defensively, but is now in the hole. So going to be a quick turnaround as Coleman shows bunt right back to May, and she'll throw her out, and Coleman tripped on her way down to first base. Ludlam goes to check on her and looks to be okay on the board. White walks in with 5, but it seems like the white team's kind of starting to get a little bit of momentum in what we saw from them in the 4th.
Yeah, starting to be able to settle in. calm down, find your spots, go after it.
Riley Ludlam has been so aggressive here tonight. First pitch swinging and down the line, foul. Ludlam with an RBI in the 4th inning, but maybe hasn't gone down in the scorebook of having a lot of base hits or what have you, but she has the triple, she has the RBI single as well, but has also reached base with a pair of walks.
On the ones she hasn't reached base on, she's had 2 hard hit deep in right field and then right center hard hit balls that were tracked down by Hannah Core, who on its own, she's a fantastic outfielder. So one of those probably against another outfielder probably would have been a stand-up double.
1-1, misses a little low. But Ludlam seeing the ball well off of every pitcher that she's seen here tonight. And Kelly Maxwell looking to close out her segment of innings. And I feel like Maxwell's gotten better as the game has gone along.
I mean, she's coming off of her first for all the pitching staff 1-2-3 inning.
Behind here, 3 balls and a strike. 3-1, misses outside, and it's a lead-off walk. Ludlam's 3rd walk of the night. Brings up Cassidy Pickering. Pickering, the freshman, of the 5 runs that have been put on the board by the white team, 3 of them have come off the bat of Cassidy Pickering. 2 home runs here tonight, and the freshman just seeing the ball well.
And I gotta say, having Ludlam on base almost every single time that Pickering's been up has been huge. And that's a lot of times people are confused sometimes. Why is it such a big deal that they get so excited about walks? Why is it such a big deal that they harp on being disciplined at the plate? And so you have a runner on first whenever somebody who's had 2 home runs in a game is up to bat.
Big hack by Pickering and fouls it straight back. Count runs even 1 ball and 1 strike. And, you know, Nicole, I agree. I completely agree. I mean, it also, too, I mean, you think about, now not necessarily, I'm going to say this, but I'm going to preface with not necessarily for the Sooner team, and especially in the last 3 years, but this is a game of failure a lot. I mean, how often you don't reach base as Pickering shows bunt and pops it foul, kind of goes back to those bunt attempts that we've seen. I got a feeling that's going to be a conversation in practice tomorrow.
Definitely.
But, I mean, this is a game where you don't reach base all the time, right? And being able to have the mindset of celebrating every little thing. I mean, this is a team that has seniors on it that have never finished a season without winning a national championship. As Kelly Maxwell comes off the mound a little awkwardly in what will be an illegal pitch. Looks to be okay. She's laughing about it. That's always
just
good.
a little stumble there.
But count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. But it's important to see this team who has accomplished, I mean, so much, celebrate every little thing. The 2-2 gets Pickering to wave on the outside corner. And Kelly Maxwell sets the freshman down on strikes to bring up Avery Hodge. And what a pitch.
I mean, after getting that big hack up and in, she goes low and away. Pickering, you can tell she's thinking something more inside is going to be coming her way. Great job, great placement by Maxwell, being able to move the ball around the zone. And that's a huge out. Again, she's had 2 home runs. Being able to get that out after the leadoff walk, that's big time and shutting down momentum.
Hodge stands in, takes first offering in for called strike 1. Pickering heading to first base for Ludlam, who is now on deck. All the shifting. You got to be ready to go in the battle series. Maxwell fires the 0-1 and misses upstairs.
By Maxwell right now, that first strike against Hodge a little higher, that second pitch a little higher. Hodge is really low in her legs right now. It looks like she's wanting to chase after that low and away curveball. If I'm guessing right, as a lefty hitter, that's the pitch that she wants. She fouls off a low and away curve.
But you can see Hodge, even on that foul ball, it's a defensive swing.
Yeah. If I'm Maxwell, I'm going to go in, and if she doesn't bite or if it's a ball, I'm going to go outside, but I'm going to keep it low, and I'm going to bring it off the plate and see if she bites. She got her that way last time.
Yep. 1-2 inside, just like you said, Mindy. But again, the 2-2 puts Maxwell in a position again to do what she does so well. I mean, I've said it time and time again. Maxwell's one of the best in the game at pitch sequences in setting up a pitch with the pitch before it. Jada Coleman cuts the ball off in the 3-4 hole, but throws it out into left field. Ludlam will score. Here comes Avery Hodge, and she'll slide in safely, and it will be a 4-base error on the throw. And Jada Coleman coming up, doing exactly what she should have done on the ball that took her into the 3-4 hole to get the lead runner at second, but the throw got away, and Avery Hodge comes around to score, and that's 7 runs on the board.
Like you said, that was a great heads-up play by Coleman, knowing that took her off the bag. Hodge obviously has speed. Going to that runner at second, that was the way to go. Not really sure if Brito lost it. It didn't look like it was too far out, but it also looked like the anticipation of the outfielders were a little off. And there was a big gap out in left field, and that's why all the runners got to come in. But great heads up by Hodge and saying, all right, well, there's no one out there. I'm going to score on this. I got to giddy up my horse a little bit and get around.
And I think, too, you know, even as we are watching it, as Hansen goes out to kind of settle down, Maxwell, not settle down, Maxwell's throwing well, just kind of calm things down a bit. You know, you watch as that final throw came in from the relay. Not a very good throw coming home either. I mean, it's, you know, just things that need to be cleaned up a little bit defensively. We've seen a few communication issues from time to time, and, you know, throws maybe necessarily not being where they're supposed to be. That pitch misses in the dirt.
Both of those runs, by the way, unearned, so it's no -10 for Maxwell on either one of those runs because they were unearned.
Ludlam, who just came around to score, steps into the box, takes the called strike. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike.
See Hodge trying to catch her breath after
and you
having it in the Parker.
Saw her get up just a little bit slow. Looks to be okay, but she came in and slid into home plate. Didn't see her pop up as quickly as I would have liked, but the thing about the Battle Series, things are moving so quickly. Again, Ludlam, who just came around to score as well, as she fouls a 3-1 off down the line and count runs full. But very small offensive lineups right now.
Not a lot of recovery time. Feels a little bit like cardio softball. And if you don't know what cardio softball is, you get a clock, say 10 minutes, and you get to hit for 10 minutes, and then the other team gets to hit. But the trick is you have to sprint, even if you hit a home run.
3-2, borderline, but just misses outside, and it is another walk drawn by Riley Ludlam. That is her 4th walk tonight.
Maxwell's been struggling to get those pitches, that back door off of Ludman, to come back over the plate.
Cassidy Pickering stands in as Tiare Jennings is in to run for Ludlam. Pickering struck out in this inning off of Maxwell. First pitch is way inside for a ball. That's where you want to see Maxwell, again, hammer the zone. Let your defense work and make an adjustment. The 1-0 Curveball in for strike one.
She's been pounding that curveball across the zone for a strike pretty consistently for lefties and righties. That's been her go-to, and then just expanding from there. Having a little bit more success with that backdoor against lefties.
Ground ball to Brito. She's going to charge and flip it around to get the lead runner.
Great heads up by Brito. And great body positioning.
Yes.
That is a hard arm slot to be able to make in the accuracy of that throw. She's throwing basically behind her back. To be able to do that on the run, you have to know exactly where you're going, and you have to have practiced that before. That was a great play. Made it look so routine as well.
Made something that is extremely difficult look routine. I mean, that was, and just made it look smooth. Hodge stands in, laces it down the left field line, and it's going to fall down foul for strike one. So I'm sitting here counting through my scorebook, which my scorebook is all over the place, if you can imagine. But Ludlam, as I mentioned, has drawn 4 walks here tonight. That is the 9th walk for the white team alone. Huge number, and pitch gets away from Maxwell to plunk Avery Hodge, and another free pass for the white team. It's chilly down there. That'll hurt any day coming from Kelly Maxwell, especially here tonight. Avery Hodge is going to take a moment, as she should.
Yeah, that one, that back door, just whenever Maxwell throws that, you can see that front shoulder and hip kind of flaring open. I think she's able to hold it tight, facing towards the catcher just a little bit longer. That back door will have a little bit more sharpness and curve back over the plate versus spinning and staying straight. But yeah, that's not a fun place to get hit, but I'd rather get hit there than maybe a less meatier part, especially in this cold.
Hodge looks to be okay.
Jada Coleman giving her a little pat on the shoulder.
The 0-1 way inside to Ludlam, and in this inning alone, Ludlam has drawn 2 walks. The hit by pitch to Avery Hodge makes it double-digit free passes for the white team here tonight. Off of different pitchers as the game has gone on. 1-1 misses outside. Ludlam, the Furman transfer, in her final season here in Norman. 2-1. It's popped foul, and count runs even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Maxwell looking to minimize the damage here after the white team put up 2 runs on a throwing error. Again, as Mendez mentioned earlier, both unearned on Kelly Maxwell, so those points will not be deducted. The 2-2 misses low.
Yeah, this defense should be out of this by now. We can hear the defense being vocal even now. You can hear Kenzie Hansen controlling her infield. Riley Boone out in center controlling her outfield.
3-2.
Great
Ludlam
location.
stays alive, yes.
That curve kind of dropped down, low and in on Ludlam. I love that location because it was just close enough that that probably would have been a strike, but not a strike that you want to swing at as a hitter, that low and in.
Maxwell rocks and fires. Ludlam takes what would have been ball 4 and gets rid of it. And we'll do the 3-2 again. It's interesting as I'm looking at Ludlam's stat line for tonight. As I mentioned, he's drawn 3 walks. Excuse me, 4 walks. I take that back. She's drawn 4 walks here tonight, 2 in this inning. 3-2 fouled off again. but she's been so aggressive.
She's been aggressive, and like we were talking about, she's had maybe not on the stat line what you would view as the most productive results, but her hits have been hard. They've been consistent. She's hit them in places that people have just been.
3-2, and Maxwell gets her swinging on a dirty full count pitch. And we head to the middle of the 5th inning. You're watching Sooner Softball, presented by Love's Travel Stops, the heart of the highway.
With 11 runs, and they haven't even had their last at-bat yet.
They haven't. And all of those stats that we just had for Hannah Cora as the first pitch to Alina Torres is in for called strike 1. Hannah Cora is going to get an at-bat if a person gets on for the great team. Or excuse me, Hannah Cora is on deck right now, so she's still not done. All of those stats as the 0-1 is skied high to left field, and Maya Bland is there to make the catch for out number 1. But Hannah Cora getting her at bat here in the 5th. So all of those numbers that we just ran on our Riverwind difference maker could still go up. 128 points is what she's earned, and an opportunity here to add to that number. And Hack in first pitch, but it's going to roll foul. And Core entered this game with 255 points. That put her in 7th. And Alyssa Brito, the leader, at 454. She's not quite gonna catch her, but definitely putting herself in a good position, and that ought to do it as well. And she goes oppo with the bomb, and Hannah Core have a night.
Oh man, she must have heard you say, I don't think I hit Brito. Okay, let me hit this home run. Let me get a quick 40. Let me get that hard hit, a couple more points. Just off of that one hit alone, Hannah Core earned 40 points for the home run. And then, because it was a hard hit, she's earned a couple more points on top of that. And if her team wins this inning, if the other team doesn't score as many as 1 runs or more, she gets another 10 points for the inning win, plus 50 points for the team win. So Hannah Core, by far, has made the most for anybody as she leaps onto home plate. JT has to be a little bit proud right now.
I'd say. And Hannah Core catching her breath, taking a minute, but taking that pitch. Oppo. And Hannah Core has put on an absolute clinic here in game 4. And I spoke too soon. I was like, she's not going to catch Alyssa Brito tonight.
You're like, I don't think so. And of course, like, I do.
I need to get out my calculator to add up all of her points. Kinsey Hansen awaits the 0-1 from Nicole May. A nice location, but just misses outside. Sharp and crisp movement. That was 1 ball and a strike. With that home run as well, we've talked about the points and everything that Hannah Core has racked up. Add another run to the gray team to make it 12. The 1-1 is laced down the left field line. If it stays fair, and it just hooks foul.
Coach Gasso can't believe it.
If there were seeds awarded for foul balls, that would have been one.
Yeah.
Absolutely smashed down the line, and it just hooked barely.
Barely.
And Coach Gasso saying, no, that's fair. Any other time, she'd be calling for a review.
I think that automatically she put her hand on top of her head and was like, oh, wait. Not a review time.
Not tonight.
This is a fall ball game. We'll let this one slide.
The 1-2 to Kinsey Hansen. It's tapped foul, and she stays alive.
Great pitch by Nicole May. Not afraid to go back on that inside, especially after Kinsey Hansen hit it so hard down the line. All she does is just move it a little bit farther inside, just a smidge. And that's where you see that rollover. That was a great pitch.
Good time to change a little bit of speed here.
I believe it.
Get it in the dirt,
Maybe
I
high.
say. And it's going to loop just over the head of Avery Hodge at short. And Hansen is aboard with a single. And again, this gray team has been absolutely dominant here tonight, regardless of what pitcher is in the circle. But gray team has passed the bat and done a little bit of everything. But Kenzie Hansen with another looping single. We've seen a couple of them from her tonight. Riley Boone stands in with one out. Pitch up in the zone, just gets enough of it, but it's going to roll foul for strike one.
Barely rolls foul there, and you can see Kenzie Hansen on her horse, another action call. Being able to get those down, get them fair, get them completed whenever the action call is going up. That's important. You want those execution points as well.
And that's something the gray team has done very well tonight. We've seen them execute the plays that have been called.
Chaos.
Yes. Putting pressure on defenses, but you know, that 12-run mark is not just, now granted, we've seen the long ball from this team, but I mean, they have just manufactured runs as well. The 0-1 misses outside. 13 hits for the gray team. I think we were looking at it in between innings during break as well. 3 walks for Gray, and check swing there by Riley Boone, and they're going to say she didn't hold up. That goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
They had just 3 walks, but 12 runs.
Yep.
I mean, they're clearly making the most of whatever's in the zone.
Ground ball to Lilio at second, and she'll throw Boone out at first base. Lilio has been busy at second base here tonight, taking her both directions, but has been solid defensively.
All right side, getting lots of action, not just second base, right field. A lot of action over at first. Even the pitchers have joined in a little bit. It's been a busy night. Hey, I'd rather that than just standing around. I know the pitchers probably wouldn't, but as a defender, I kind of like it when I get some action going on.
Torres faces Nicole May with a runner at second and 2 outs. First pitch misses inside. May rocks and fires, a little bit off speed. Nice location, but just misses out. And you see Nicole May kind of asking, where's that at? Behind here, 2 balls and no strikes to Alina Torres. Hannah Core on deck. And Riley Boone off with the pitch. Torres fouls it straight back, a little bit of hit and run.
A little bit of hit and run, I think. I mean, it's worked for this great team so well. The execution, the ability to have those speed on the bases with Riley Boone, with Hannah Core. If you have it, you might as well use it.
2-2, nice location. And Riley Boone is off, but Ludlam throws her out at third base for the 3rd out of the inning. And the gray team continuing to try to put some pressure on these defenses. But Riley Ludlam gets her pitcher out of an inning. We head to the bottom of the 5th and final at-bat of the ball game.
But she wouldn't mind a 1-2-3.
Earn some of those points, right?
Get some points.
Name of the ball game. So Alyssa Brito, little check swing for ball 1. Brito had a home run back in the 1st. And got this Crimson team off to a quick start, and then they've kind of been quiet. Not a lot of action from the Crimson offensively. It's the 1-0 on the inside corner for called strike 1. As I mentioned, Alyssa Brito entered this game leading all players as far as points go. Hannah Core on her tail now after the tear she went on tonight. The 1-1 is found back.
You can hear the defense, the end in sight, a lot of chatter going on. Hannah Core just waiting for something to pop her way. Jada Coleman at short again. Want her moment to shine.
1-2, and it'll be called strike 3, and Brito sat down on strikes. One of the first strikeouts looking we've seen here tonight, but a great location from Nicole May.
Great location. She's had 2 pitches that at bat against Brito where it could have gone either way. They were the perfect pitcher's strikes. Not pitcher's pitches, but pitcher's strikes.
Torres takes a hack at the first thing she sees. It's drifting over, but Kinsey Hansen makes the catch at the dugout net for out number 2. And she's amped up. Much as she's been all night. So much energy coming from Hansen and that great team. Jada Coleman likes a 2 over at short. But 2 quick outs for Nicole May. Brings up the freshman Nelly Macaro-Marinas.
This defense showing May a little bit of love.
May working quickly and throwing strikes. First pitch misses upstairs. You know, if there's one thing as a whole, you know, we've seen every pitcher here tonight in this arsenal, right? And the walk numbers have been astronomical. You know, not something you like to see if you're Coach Rocha, but the good thing is we've seen each of these pitchers kind of work through it, right? And kind of get better as things have gone on. But massive walk numbers as a whole here this evening. As May's behind here, 2 balls and no strikes. And misses low to fall behind 3 balls and no strikes.
Something that this staff is probably going to want to nail this week, and one more game possibly next week. So wanting to make the most of the last little bit of practice, the last little bit of scrimmage, because the next time they play, it's going to be for real.
Macaro-Marinas taken all the way. Count goes 3 balls and a strike. But definitely something you want to see the staff get short up. And out of character for the staff.
Out of character. But it does, you do have a little bit of leeway whenever, right now there's 3 teams, but whenever your offense, the 3 teams combined scored 21.
Yep.
It gives you a little bit of leeway as a pitcher to not feel like you have to execute quite as urgently. And it gives you room to feel comfortable and to feel settled.
May brings the 3-2, and it's lined right back up the middle. Macaro-Marinas with her first hit of the night, trying to get something going for Team Crimson with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th in what will be the final half inning of this ball game. Macaro, good piece of hitting on a pitch kind of up in the zone.
Up in the zone, she's able to handle it, bring her hands to the ball, and not trying to do too much with it too. Sometimes whenever you see those pitches, you try to overswing.
Big hack.
Being able to just take it up the middle.
Big hack by Maya Bland on the off-speed pitch for strike 1. Bland also looking for her first hit of the night. The 0-1. Little off speed again, and May is ahead here. No balls and 2 strikes.
Sneaking that off speed.
Feeling it again?
I think so. Maybe
Why
low.
not? Here comes the 0-2, and it sure is off speed, but Bland gets a piece and stays alive.
Not fair. I have the unfair advantage of knowing Coach Rocha. But I love the way she calls. Always so fun.
May fires. Bland having a battle here. Fallon pitches off and making May work for it. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Alyssa Brito at first base, running for Macaro-Marinas. May rocks and fires, and she will strike out Bland for the final out of the ball game. And Nicole May finishing on a strong note to keep.
चल के बाद बंदे के
भोला स्वामी पे से भमिया तोहार सिर्फ संडे के बुझो जी अब करे हमारे इंतजार पिसन संडे के सुन खुशी नी